Okay.
Hi everybody, Amy Coon from The Paper Life, www.thepaperlife.com. I'm here with Matt. I had to look at his thing real quick because I did have a Josh here, but Matt's up here. We are at Provo-craft, and sitting behind me on the table is an Imagine. And Matt is going to tour you guys all through this so you can see what this is all about. We got a new machine from Provo-crafts. Go ahead.
Okay, so what I want to talk about first is this machine has a new cartridge. This is our Cricut Imagine cartridge, but it's also compatible with all of our previous cartridges. I'll show you first the features on this cartridge, then I'll go back and talk about all the original cartridges.
Yeah.
So what you're looking at here, this is our gallery view, and you can just kind of tap the screen and drag through. This contains shows all the artwork on the cartridge. There's also a couple of other ways you can view this. If you hit keypad, for example, you can see it on like kind of a gypsy-esque or a traditional keypad.
Yeah, it's almost like a gypsy.
Yeah, just so that people who are familiar with the layout of our current expression machine can view the artwork that way as well.
Okay.
In fact, if I select that original cartridge there, you'll see it just shows up just like on a gypsy. So this is the Toy Story cartridge that you're looking at now.
And Toy Story new?
Toy Story is new.
Very cute. Yeah. Toy Story cartridge, cute, guys.
All right, so let me go back to our Imagine cartridge, and I'll switch this back to our gallery view. What's really great about this machine is not only does it print and cut, but it actually allows you to edit the images. So, for example, this is a pre-done piece of art that's on the machine. These are in the colors that the artist chose. Let me go ahead and find that image. It's right here. I'm going to click that pencil, which takes us to our image editor.
Okay.
And the image editor will actually let you edit all of these pieces, just like you were selecting the paper on a Cricut machine to cut. So, here on the right, or excuse me, left, I'm backwards. This shows you the assembled project, right? It's all the layers. Over here are all the layers that are used in that project. So any of these layers I can come in and edit. So for example, if I want to change that green background, I can select green and I can change the color of that.
And then it shows you your new art.
It shows it right here and there as well. What's really great about this is each of these cartridges not only contains the art, but it contains all of these patterns as well. And these patterns have been chosen by the artist who did the artwork to kind of coordinate with that style of art. As well as all the colors are very well coordinated together, so even a person like me who's not very artistic doesn't have a hard time, picking colors that are going to work well together, because these are all designed to work nicely.
Cool. Okay, now here's another question real quick though. This is all obviously one-dimensional.
Yes.
You've printed on this because there's ink in here to print with. Now, can I cut this out individually if I would want sections and dimension?
This right here gives you the one dimension. When you push that button right there, now it'll cut separate pieces. So
and
for
then
example,
I would piece it together.
Yep. So this is an example of that right here. This is one that you can print as a single dimension, but I've actually separated it out into its layers, so that if you want to give a 3D effect, or if you want to
put pop dots on there and make it. Oh, neat. Okay.
And all that takes is a touch of that button.
Okay.
So let me print this one out as a single layer, since I have an example here in front of us of that. Go ahead and hit apply. It's going to come back to the gallery view. Up here at the top, very similar to the Gypsy, is our cue. This is what's going to be printed when we go ahead and go on to the next screen. Right now, we'll just shape.
So I could, at that point, add more to this, not just this design.
Yeah. So right now,
I could put in more in the cue.
Yep.
Okay.
So you could put more in there, just show up right here on the mat. And you can change the size and everything as well. So let's go ahead and print this one.
Okay.
Hit next, and the screen then prompts you to insert the mat. Hit go, and you just kind of apply a light pressure, which the screen also tells you.
All right.
And the machine pulls it in.
And it says busy printing and cutting.
Busy printing and cutting. And so right now what it's doing is the brain of the machine is taking the information that we just chose that we're going to print, and it's getting it ready to be able to print. As soon as that's done, it'll send it over to the printing portion of the device, and it's going to go ahead and start printing the images that we chose. When it's done printing, it'll dwell for a certain amount of time based on the paper that we've chosen to let the ink dry. Then it'll feed it back through the machine, and it'll do the cutting.
Okay, and since you brought that up, the type of paper, is this true? Like it'll adjust to the size, thickness of my paper, or?
Well, not exactly. One of the challenges that we had with this machine is that you can see the mat is not flat. It takes a slight
it's like going down. Yeah.
So one of the things that you want to be careful of is that you only cut and print materials in here. It'll go through like a regular printer. It needs to be able to take a slightly curved
Okay.
So printing and cutting chipboard is not really going to be an option on this machine. But we do have some other ways other things to help along with that. You know, you can print and cut out this and then apply it
to your chipboard. Exactly. Okay.
So right now it's printing, and actually I think it's done printing it. So now it's doing a dry. And you'll see
drying the ink before it runs through the
and you'll see in just a minute it's going to feed itself
How
out.
many cartridges of ink are there in here?
There are two.
Two, okay.
There's a color cartridge and then a black
and white, okay. Or black, yeah.
Yes. So right now the machine's finding the mat. So this is how we make sure that the print and the cut line up with each other. And by the way, we recommend that you cut, you know, an 85-pound cardstock. We've done a lot of testing on basil texture papers. It works very well.
Oh, nice.
There. We also have some printable vinyl that we're experimenting with at the moment. It seems to be doing very well.
Okay.
Pretty much anything that you can print on in a standard inkjet printer, you can also print on this machine. So transparency, you know, overheads, those types of things. Anything that's designed to take an inkjet ink, you can also print and cut on this machine.
Very neat. So with our regular standard cartridges, we're able to put this in here and print them out and cut each individual piece.
Right.
But with these new ones, we get new artwork, total new designs, and like you're saying, all this.
Yeah, so that's kind of the by layers right here, and then there, of course, different artwork. But then this is if you're going to print it one dimensional.
One dimensional. Okay, now, do I get a choice of my border? How much I want?
Yes, that will be an option. I can't demonstrate that for you right now because we haven't finished that feature of the machine. But yeah, you will be able to edit the color. You can see on the edge of this one, there's a light blue. You'll be able to change that. So you can even add a border if you want. You could add a black border. You can choose the thickness of it as well.
And size, okay, like you showed me. I mean, am I able to make this larger? Like
you
if I wanted it to be
can make it as big as will fit on a 12 by 12 mat.
Okay.
And that's done on the image editing screen. You just go ahead and there's here, I'll show you real quick.
Okay.
Just go back onto that image so that we can edit it. And there's just a little dial right here at the bottom. It'll allow you to either choose to make it bigger or smaller, and then there's true size, and then the relative size. So that if you leave it on relative size, all these cut out, you know, so they're the right size.
Match up, right.
Yeah, so they're all proportional.
And show the new mat. You were telling me that you guys have kind of...
Yeah, the new mat, now this one's been used a lot today, so it's kind of dirty, but the new mat has this black border around it.
Okay.
And the black border is there so that the machine can find the mat.
Okay.
Right? So you saw it kind of reading
so
the mat.
So it reads those dark lines.
And that's to make sure that the print and the cut line up.
Okay.
And then it has a new adhesive as well.
That's what I was going to say. The adhesive is nice.
Yes, it's
I mean, even though it looks kind of used, it's very sticky.
Yeah, it's because I keep leaning on it with my shirt.
But it's
so
very
it has black
sticky. I like it. Yeah, they seem.
Okay. So now let me show you how our original printing cartridges work. I'm going to exit out of the image editor, and I'm going to clear this image from here, and I'm going to switch over to the Toy Story cartridge. Now, while this is showing up in the gallery, one of the questions people have asked a lot is, what can you print? Because this doesn't have any print information on it. All this is cut information. It just tells the cutter where to go.
Right.
But what's nice is you're going to see in just a minute when this comes up, it actually uses the print information from this cartridge.
Oh.
So that you can pick any of the patterns that you had on this. Like for example, let's just choose Woody's head there. We'll go to the image editor. That's right. And you see all of those colors are right there on that cartridge, so you can pick any of those patterns.
Yeah, and I think that's important. These aren't just colors. I mean, these are actually pattern papers.
Yes, and in a sense, this is almost like electronic paper.
Right.
So very similar to, if you wanted to cut Woody out with that pattern, you'd have to go to the store and buy that color paper. You don't have to do that anymore. You can pick out the pattern you want and just go ahead and select it and it applies. Now, if you don't want to use a pattern, we have all these standard colors. And in addition to that, if you don't like any of those, you can actually come in here and pick and choose your own color.
And it's RGB.
It is RGB, which is really helpful because, for example, if you wanted to do Woody in all of his bright colors, you can look up on the web what the RGB values are for
Disney.
Yep, and then you can put those values in and then select those colors and apply them to Woody.
Nice. That was good thinking on that one. That's cool.
Well, and that's pretty much the entire machine. I mean, a lot of people say it prints and cuts, and they forget the fact that we actually it's not a one-dimensional image. We've got multiple layers in there, and each layer is editable. Not edible, but editable. Yeah. So you can't eat it, but you can change it.
There's a difference.
Yes, that's the Cricut cake.
Well, thank you, Matt.